Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to talk about something really, really important for so many of you.
Hmm.
It's about navigating your professional life when, spoken English just feels like this huge wall in front of you.
And this deep dive, it's really for those of you who have amazing technical skills. Maybe you're a brilliant coder and engineer, but you feel that your spoken English is holding you back.
Especially in those high pressure moments.
Exactly.
Mm.
Like a job interview.
Yeah, our sources were so clear on this. The feedback we got points to this massive, really widespread
A
feeling.
feeling of being stuck.
Yes, exactly. People who are so capable, but their career just isn't moving. Not because they can't do the job, but because they believe their English isn't good enough.
Right, and that's the belief we're here to challenge today. So if that sounds like you, we just want you to listen really closely to this next part.
This is the core message, right from the source material.
You do not need perfect English.
Let's just let that sink in for a second. This whole deep dive is about giving you a simple roadmap, a kind of structural skeleton, to help you speak clearly and with confidence starting today.
We're just simplifying everything,
Mm.
moving past the fear and into tools that work.
Okay, so let's unpack that core barrier a little. If you're listening, you probably know this feeling all too well.
Oh, yeah.
The interviewer asks a question, maybe a tricky one, and your heart just starts pounding.
Your mind goes completely blank.
Yes, and you know the answer, you know it perfectly in your head, but the English words, they just won't come out in the right order.
It's a real thing, almost like a physical block. And what's so interesting is that when that nervousness hits, your language skills seem to just disappear.
But the knowledge is still there.
The knowledge is 100% still there. Your technical skill is intact.
That is such a critical distinction. So our sources diagnose this not as a skill problem, but purely as a problem of spoken English confidence.
It's about delivery, not intelligence. And once you shift your mindset to that, a lot of the pressure just goes away.
Which brings us to this big aha moment we pulled from the research.
This is the one thing that should help you relax immediately. Interviewers are not sitting there grading your grammar.
They really aren't.
They do not expect perfect English.
That idea of perfection, that's a trap we set for ourselves, isn't it?
It is. It's what triggers the panic in the first place.
Right.
So if perfection isn't the goal, what is? What do interviewers actually want? The notes really focus on clarity, above all else.
Right. They're looking for basically three things. First, just clear thinking.
Can you organize your ideas in a logical way? That's number one.
Number two, honest answers. Are you being authentic?
And third, just basic communication. Can you get the point across?
That's it. And notice what's missing from that list.
Yes. Big vocabulary.
They're not looking for big vocabulary.
In fact, trying to use complicated words or, these long, complex sentences usually works against you when you're nervous.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you're trying to sound smarter, so you reach for these big sentences.
And that's where you get tangled up. You get stuck.
Silence.
Yeah, and the lesson here is so simple. Simplicity reduces your risk. Simple English is confident English.
Keep it grounded, short, direct phrases. It works. Okay, let's make this really practical. The source material had this fantastic example of a learner, a guy named Amit.
Right. And he was struggling at first, but then he found success just by simplifying his structure.
So when he was practicing his self-introduction, he stopped trying to make it one long, perfect paragraph.
Instead, he just broke it down. We used simple, clear statements,
Yeah.
like building blocks.
He would say things like, "My name is Amit. Pause. I have 3 years of experience."
I work as a software tester.
And the feedback he got was, perfect start.
Yeah. Why was it perfect? No big grammar, but very clear meaning.
100% clarity with almost zero linguistic risk. He just delivered one fact, then the next fact.
That structural approach, fact by fact, is just so much easier and more effective than chasing complexity.
Building right on that idea, let's talk about grammar for a second.
But not academic grammar.
No theory. This is strictly functional grammar for an interview. And the sources highlight 3 simple tenses that will cover like 90% of what you need to say.
And these 3 tools, they perfectly map out your professional life, your present, your past, and your future.
So tool number 1, the simple present. You use this for what you're doing right now, your current skills, your job.
It's the status and capability tense.
Exactly. I work as a developer. I handle client calls. Simple. You use this for your current role.
Then, tool number 2, the simple past. This is for anything completed. Projects you finished, skills you learned.
Yes, an interviewer needs proof, right? And the past tense is how you deliver that proof.
Right. I worked on 2 projects. I learned automation testing. And you don't have to overthink it. If they understand the action is finished, that's enough.
And finally, tool 3, the future. This one's for your goals, your ambition.
Where you're headed.
I want to grow in my career. Or I will improve my skills. It shows you're thinking ahead.
And if you just stick to those three, present for now, past for history, future for strategy, you cut down the chance of making a really confusing mistake.
Okay, but what about that moment? That moment of pure panic when you just freeze? We have to address that.
We do. And the sources have some surprisingly liberating advice for this. There's this great line.
I love this line.
It says, broken English is better than no English.
That's so powerful because silence in an interview can feel like you don't know the answer or you don't care.
Exactly. A mistake just shows you're trying. Silence feels like you've given up.
So we need some tactics here.
Yes. We need what the notes call confidence-building sentences. These are phrases that buy you time when your brain stalls.
Okay, these are essential. So when you need a second to think, you can just say
Let me think for a second.
simple or.
I will try to explain this clearly.
But what if they ask about a skill you're still developing?
You can say, I am learning and improving in that area.
The value there is huge, isn't it?
It's twofold. First, it calms you down. It breaks the panic. And second, it signals to the interviewer that you're engaged. You're taking control of the conversation's pace.
And now for the strategic framework. The way to actually structure an answer to a complex question, the sources call this the golden thinking pattern.
And the key here is to stop yourself from over-talking.
Over-talking. I think we all do that when we're nervous. You just keep adding details, hoping the right answer's in there somewhere.
Right. It's confusing for the listener, and it makes you sound disorganized.
So to stop the rambling, the pattern is incredibly simple. It's just point right arrow, small example right-o ball, stop.
It's so effective. Let's use the example from the notes. They ask you about teamwork.
Okay.
You start with the point. I am good at teamwork.
Clear assertion.
Then the small example, which is your proof. In my last project, I worked effectively with 5 members.
And then you
Yes.
stop. That feels almost too short. Why is stopping so important?
Because you've already answered the question. You gave the assertion and the evidence. If they want more detail, they'll ask for it.
I see.
But by stopping, you guarantee your main message was delivered clearly and without you getting lost.
We can apply that exact same thinking to the 2 questions that create the most anxiety, strengths and weaknesses.
Right. For strengths, the advice is just simple, honest statements. I am hardworking. I learn fast. I am good at teamwork. That's often enough.
But weaknesses, that one feels like a trap. If you admit a weakness, aren't you just giving them a reason not to hire you?
That's the fear. But the sources argue it's the opposite. An interviewer expects honesty. If you say, I have no weakness, they know you're not being truthful.
Okay, so what's the recommended approach?
You acknowledge a real challenge, but you immediately pivot to action.
So you're not focusing on the flaw, you're focusing on the growth.
Exactly. So for example,
Yeah.
I feel nervous while speaking English. That's the honest weakness.
And then the pivot.
But I am improving daily and focusing on practice. It's a perfect answer. It shows self-awareness and a proactive mindset. Those are huge positives.
Let's shift to the big picture mindset for a moment. This is a really important realization to internalize.
It is. English is not a gatekeeper to your career. It is just a tool.
That really counters that damaging idea that your English level equals your intelligence.
It doesn't. Your technical skills decide your career. English is just the vehicle you use to show those skills. It's the delivery truck, not the product.
And since this is all about building confidence, the sources give a really practical, very low-stakes daily practice tip. It only takes 5 minutes.
It has to be simple, something you can actually do. So every day, just for 5 minutes, speak about your work out loud.
Using simple sentences.
Yes, and this is the most important rule. Do not translate.
Ah.
Don't think in your native language and then search for the English words. Try to form the thought directly in simple English.
That's key for building speed, isn't it? And where should you do this?
Anywhere. While you're walking, on the bus, doing dishes, just turn that idle time into practice time. 5 minutes a day will build that confidence so much faster than studying grammar books.
Okay, to wrap this up, let's give you some final practical building blocks, some high-value vocabulary and sentence templates right from our sources.
These are words you should really focus on. Let's start with action words. These show you're capable. Words like manage, handle, support, improve, learn.
These signal that you take initiative. Then we have the essential interview words, the concepts you'll definitely need to talk about.
Experience, responsibility, project, challenge, solution.
The basics, and finally, some confidence words. These help you frame things in a positive light.
Words like comfortable, improving, learning, positive.
And to make it super easy to start, let's list those essential sentence templates you should just save and repeat every day.
Yeah, you want these to become automatic. I have experience in.
I am comfortable with.
I am learning this skill.
I work on this project.
If you repeat these simple structures, you build a kind of muscle memory for speaking, which really helps when you're nervous.
The final realization from all our sources really brings this full circle. English interviews aren't monsters. They're just conversations.
They're conversations where you use a specific set of simple tools.
And that leads us right to our final thought, the most important conclusion from all the research.
It's this. Mistakes won't stop your career. Silence will.
That's the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? You have the structure now, you have the low-risk phrases. The only thing left is to speak.
Use the simple English you already have. Trust that your thoughts are clear.
The formula is right there. Your skills plus simple, structured English.
That equals opportunity. Start trying. Stop fearing.
Exactly. So go practice those 5 minutes. We'll see you for the next deep dive.